Hello and welcome back to another video from me, FPL Crusader. Today we just got 2 weeks to go before the start of the FPL season. So today we're going to look at some essentials and hidden gems you need for your Fantasy Premier League team. Let's crack on straight away so I won't take up too much of your time. I'll move my fat head there. First one there is Nico Williams. Now Nico Williams is 5.0 million, only 3.9% owned. So we're going to do the hidden gems first, but 3.9% owned. Considering he's in that Forest defensive line and he's a guaranteed starter, it's an absolute differential, and he could score as many points, if not more, than the rest of his teammates. They've got 5 great fixtures in the first 6. The only one you would consider not a good fixture is that Arsenal in game week 4. He is a 90-minute man now. He got 4 attacking returns last season, which is more than Ola Aina. Now, Aina was the number 1 defender in terms of FPL points for the majority of the season, and that was purely due to clean sheets, and also Aina had a few attacking returns to start, but they dried up after a while, and Nico Williams gained in confidence. He's 10th in defense for tackles, 109 points from 28 starts with 8 bonus. It's pretty good going. So if he gets an extra 10 starts, he could nudge that 200 point threshold, especially if he gets some of those defensive contribution points, which I think he will do. And if he increases those attacking returns, then he's going to get the bonus as well. He's gaining more and more confidence. I'm picking it's going to be a pretty big year for him. At home to Brentford in the first game week should be pretty good for price. I'd expect a clean sheet. Away to Crystal Palace will be tough, but that Crystal Palace's defense isn't the best in terms of actual defense. So I think he could do well. Then you got West Ham. Who knows what they're like? He's got Burnley and Sunderland in 5 and 6. So he'll be playing, if he's in my team, he'll be playing majority of those games. The next one we've got is Simon Adingra, 5.5 million, only 2.9% owned. He's got great fixtures to start. The first 2 game weeks specifically are great. West Ham at home. The Stadium in Light will be rocking for Sunderland's back to the Premier League. So I expect them to beat West Ham, to be honest. And I think the likes of Adingra, Xhaka, and their other stars should do very well. Now, this guy is a bit of a hidden gem because he was great last year at Brighton, but the issue is he was behind Matoma. Matoma had all the game time. He was essentially the talisman, so he wasn't getting the opportunities. He got 5 goals and assists at 5.2 XGI, so he lives up to what we expect. He had 109 points from 28 starts, again with 8 bonus. He could be their star man this season. He could go on to have an amazing season. If he does, he won't be at Sunderland too long. He could even go in the transfer window in January, but if he plays really well, I expect to get a lot of points from him. He could be playing on my team for the first 2 game weeks, and then I can easily bench him for the rest. A nice little gem. Next up is Evan Nielsen, 7 million, just the 2.4% owned. After Liverpool in the first game week, they've got a run of amazing fixtures. It really does turn people off when they play Liverpool in the first game week. It's at Anfield. I wouldn't expect much of him in that first game week, but after that, they got Wolves, Spurs, Brighton, Newcastle, and Leeds. So a good run of fixtures. He's a guaranteed starter. He got 10 goals, 5 assists, and 28 starts last season. Now, 17 returns out of 28 is pretty good, considering he wasn't starting and he wasn't getting many minutes in the first part of the season. So I expect that to ramp up. 128 points with 20 bonus. So the 20 bonus is very important. He gets these bonus. If he's scoring goals and if he's involved, he will get them. He's a bit of a magnet. Let's not forget he's led the line in Europe for Porto. So he scored a lot of goals and he scored in Europe as well. So he's got that understanding of how to win in big games. So potentially playing the likes of Brighton, Newcastle, Tottenham, and 3, 4, and 5 won't deter him too much. He is a bit of a hidden gem, 2.4%, I should say. Now, there's a lot of good players around the 7.5 million bracket, but if you need to save 0.5, he's a decent alternative to the likes of Solanke, especially if you already have Kudus. The last hidden gem I've got for us here is the man, the myth, the legend, Morgan Gibbs-White, 4.7% owned. He's got 5 great fixtures in his first 6. He was supposed to go to Spurs. Something happened. We don't know the full story yet. I'm assuming it'll come out, but he's staying. He's definitely a talisman for this team. Now, him and Chris Wood will control this team all year. He got 7 goals, 11 assists at 10.99 XGI. 154 points with 18 bonus. It's quite the tally. I can see why the Spurs club wanted him. He will be a top 6 player next year. And I mean, not traditional top 6, but he'll be playing in Europe with one of the teams next season, potentially in the Champions League. If that's not Nottingham Forest, then it will probably be the likes of Spurs or maybe even Chelsea. They tend to buy everyone these days. But look at those fixtures again. As I said earlier with the Nico Williams, Gibbs White can have fun in that Brentford midfield. Considering the transfers that have come out, he could do very well there. Same with Palace and West Ham. The only concern will be Arsenal, but that could be an audition for the January transfer window. You never know. And then 5 and 6 at Burnley and Sunderland. I think Morgan Gibbs White will have a lot of fun against those two promoted teams. So for me, that 7.5 might be just a bridge too far in terms of the midfield. But I think if I was to go hidden gems, I'd really look at Evan Nielsen if I could afford the price point. I think he could do very well this season. If he starts well, even snags a goal against Liverpool, but if he starts well from 2 to 6, I think a lot of people will be moving towards him, and I think he's looking very good for that for the Bournemouth team. The good thing about Bournemouth that I forgot to reiterate, even though their defense has been decimated, they've still got their manager there. They've got Areola, and he can pretty much do anything. I think he's a great manager. He will lead this team maybe on a Europe charge. It depends how their defense lines up. And Adingra could be one of those ones that gets you those points you don't expect. Now, for me, Adingra is probably going into my team because he's a good rotation option. Worst case scenario, he could snag an assist for those for certain people. I think he'll do pretty well. We just need to confirm he's a 90-minute man and he's getting the start. Then he's probably going into my team. Nico Williams, of the 4 defenders for Forest, I probably think Nico Williams is the one I will go with personally. In terms of a hidden gem, I mean, it's not too much of a risk to have a 90-minute Forest defender. He's the same price as Sells, and if you'd rather spend that money on Sells, that way he's set and forget, I understand that. But for me, a 5 million defender from Forest, who's probably going to get as many clean sheets as other teams, I think that'll be very good. So for me, I'm probably looking at maybe 2, maybe 3 of these hidden gems in my team this year. Mr. No-brainer, the essentials. I don't like the word essential, but I'll use it for this video. The people that you really want to have in your team this season is probably Mo Salah. I think he'll be the most highly owned once people understand that João Pedro might not be a long-term solution for Chelsea, but 14.5 million, 56.1% owned. I mean, I expect that to increase as we get closer to go date. Is he the perma captain? Well, you may as well be, I think. Apart from 2 and 3 looking odd, he'll be the captain in 1, 4, 5, 6, and then you can keep going from there. 47 returns last season at 33 XGI. Just getting 33 XGI for a player is phenomenal, but to catapult yourself and get 47 returns and 344 FPL points, amazing. This could be his final year at Liverpool. If they win the treble, he doesn't really have anything else to prove, so why would he stick around? But he is loved by the fans, and he's probably one of their greatest players of all time now, so I would think if he's going to go out in a high, this could be the year. My concern with Mo long-term, Isaac, Wirtz, and Ekitike, they're clearly the future of where Liverpool's attack is going. At the moment, I don't think Slot has an understanding of where everyone fits in at once, especially if Isaac goes there. Every day we hear he is going, he isn't going, he is going, who knows. Wirtz is the type of player that would be the talisman for the team and control the entire midfield and attacking line, but for now, it'll still be Salah's team. From game week 1 through 6 and probably until AFCON, Salah will still be the talisman. He'll be the one getting most the opportunities, most goals. So if you don't have him, look, I think it's really an issue in your team that you need to address. But there are a lot of people who famously are saying no Salah, no Haaland, no this, no that. And if they want to play the game their way, that's fine. But I would recommend it if you're just looking for tips on who to bring in for easy points. Speaking of guaranteed points, Morgan Rogers, 7 million, 25.3% owned. He's basically the talisman of this Villa side now. He is a 90-minute man, and they have amazing fixtures straight up. He got 19 returns at 11 XGI last season, or 10.99 it was. I expect that to continue. He worked his way into the team. He was a hidden gem last season until everyone got on board. His preseason form is very strong, but obviously we don't want to read too much into the preseason form. But he's a guaranteed starter, and he makes things happen for this team. So he's got Newcastle at home first off, which is fine. I think they'll do very well because, as we know, Newcastle do not travel well. They got Brentford, Crystal Palace, Everton, Sunderland's the juicy fixture, and then Fulham. So I think they'll do well at Everton. Home to Crystal Palace, they'll be fine. So Morgan Rogers could be a player we all keep in our teams. He is maturing as a player, and I expect him to keep going the way he is. I expect multiple points and multiple returns. Expect those 19 returns to get well into the 20s this season. I think Morgan Rogers is an essential player for the majority of teams. My concern is that I don't have Watkins, so I'm sticking with Rogers. So it depends how your team's set out. If you've got Palmer and Salah, you probably are going to have Watkins. If not, like me, Rogers is a good way in. And then I'll probably stick with Conser for a couple of Villa players because they do have those great fixtures, and we don't know who their goalkeeper is going to be, so we can't rely on that. Daniel Mellon is there, and he looks strong in preseason, but they've lost Rashford and Asensio. So a lot of the creativity will come from Rogers, it will come from Mellon, and it will come from Watkins, and they'll work together as a triangle. But Rogers will be the main man driving it, and I expect him to do very well this season. And I expect him to be similar to Mbeumo last season, where that 7 million increases closer to 8 by the end of the season. Next up is Virgil van Dijk. Now, for a lot of the season FPL managers, Van Dijk's been an essential player for the last 4 or 5 years. 21% owned, he's 6 million, so he's highest price defender in the league, equal with about 6 other players now that Trent's gone. He's a 90-minute man. He's guaranteed to start every game week that he's fit. He does have great fixtures. I know on paper there's a couple of reds, but realistically they're great fixtures. The biggest upside for him is these DEFCON points as well. He should have got an extra 22 points last season for DEFCON defensive contributions. That would have propelled him up the points for FPL defenders to second, I think, or third behind the Forest boys. But we don't expect Forest to have that much impact this season in terms of the points because teams know what they're getting into. The concern here for Liverpool is their wide defenders, the new ones, Kirkes and Frimpong, are the same price, but we expect some sort of rotation there with the likes of Bradley and other players in the squad. Van Dijk for me is a set and forget, and he's almost set and forget for 38 game weeks. At home to Arsenal, game week 3, we know Arsenal love to bottle it, so I don't expect that to be too much of an issue. It's a tough start for Newcastle this season. They've got Villa away in game week 1, then they've got Liverpool at home in game week 2. There'll be high emotion from Liverpool in game week 1, obviously with what's happened in pre-season. So game week 2 might be somewhere where Newcastle can try and snag it, or it could be Alexander Isak playing against his old team. We don't know. Either way, I think Virgil van Dijk is the number 1 defender pick this season at the moment. Lastly and not least, the best essential pick, in my opinion, as a forward is Erling Haaland. He's 19.3% owned. He's 14 million. The forgotten hero. They have great fixtures. Away to Wolves in game week 1. Expect him to do well there. Then they've got Spurs at home. Away to Brighton. United at home in the derby. Arsenal away in what used to be a derby, but now is the battle for second. And then Burnley at home in game week 6. Now, I've did some sums here. The first 6 opponents in 23-24, when he set the record for goals, he got 79 points against these opponents specifically in the same fixtures. And for Burnley, they were hit there in 23-24. So he averaged 13 points per game. In 24-25, he got 39 points and averaged 6.5 points per game, which isn't that flash. And if you're thinking to yourself, 6.5 points per game isn't that flash for a 14 million option, you're probably not wrong. But we know the struggles City had this season, and we think they've strengthened much better. They've got Reinders come in. I've got a couple other defensive players come in as well. The good thing about Reinders is he's a bit of a box crasher, so he'll take some heat off Haaland when they're in the box. Also, they got the likes of Cherky and Marmouche, who are nice and tricky. So if they start working well together, if Pep can make them click, then Haaland can have another great start to the season. The first 6 game weeks of previous seasons were phenomenal. 23-24, when he set the record, he got 51 points, which is about 9 points per game. And last season, 65 points. So he's been here 2 years. What does that say? He starts like a rocket. And these teams he's played against 2 years ago, he averaged 13 points. Last season was 7. So for me, I'm going to stick him into my team. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work out after 6. I can pull a wild card, or I can transfer in the likes of a Watkins or an Isaac and then bump up my midfield or defense. But I think I'm going to take the punt on Erling Haaland this year. I think he's looking, from what we see in preseason in terms of social media, he looks like he's hungry. So, and City want to get back on their winning ways. I think Pep's a bit sick of being the, I will not say he's going to be a joke, but they turned almost to easy beats last season compared to what they used to be. They weren't easy to beat, but compared to what they used to be, they were. Last thing I want to touch on is set piece and pens. Salah and Palmer. I'm doing this for midfielders. So Salah has penalties, not free kicks or corners. Interesting that he doesn't do many free kicks. I expect Wirtz to do the majority of free kicks. He's actually got a good free kick foot on him. Palmer is on free kicks and penalties. We saw him score a Bonzo free kick the other day. He doesn't do corners. Saka does all. Bruno Fernandes does all three. Penalties, free kicks, and corners. Whether or not you want those in your FPL team, I won't be going with Saka initially. I don't think his fixtures and his form are good enough, to be honest. And I don't really know what Arsenal's going to be. I don't trust him, to be honest. In terms of Bruno, I think he'll play a bit deeper this year, so I'm not entirely sure what we're going to get from him there. Marmoush has free kicks and corners. I expect him to do well in the free kicks. Rodgers doesn't have any, so maybe that's a feather in his cap that he needs to put in there. If he's going to play in the 10 position behind the striker, then perhaps free kicks, corners, or we know Ollie Watkins hates penalties. Maybe he can even do the penalties. I believe Daniel Mellon is a good penalty taker, so something for Rodgers to think about there. And another popular pick from Everton is Iliman Ndiaye, who takes penalties. But do you really want an Everton attacker to start off the season? It's probably the least sexiest pick in total, I would say. Well, that didn't work. Let's go back here. All right, so that's all from me. Thank you very much for tuning in. There'll be another couple of videos coming this week and one next week, and then we're onto it. We are onto the first game week of the season. So good luck for everyone. Good luck tinkering. Send through some of your FPL drafts, and I'll rate them in the next video. Thank you to all those who have sent them through. I've got about half a dozen so far. So if you want to send through yours, either on socials or on YouTube, just let me know, and then I'll rate them in a few days' time. But thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. My name's Luke, FPL Crusader. Thank you very much.